What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and we've got probably the worst article covering the Joker to date. Now, with everything going on with Blizzard, a lot of this has been flying under the radar, but the media clearly upset that nothing happened opening weekend or subsequent showings of Joker have now shifted the narrative as to why the movie is problematic, and I'll get right to it. It's Whiteness. I'm not kidding. In an article printed on the New York Times, remember when they were an actual news outlet, a trusted source? This is Lawrence Ware on the New York Times website. Before I get into that article, I'm going to talk a little bit about Jared Leto too. Did you notice there's a little quiet story here? Jared Leto upset about Joaquin Phoenix movie. Now, I get understanding, not being... or I get feeling disappointed. I guess I can totally relate to him here, understanding, or maybe there was just no communication. But Lord knows, Joaquin absolutely destroyed the role in a good way, and I'm exceedingly happy. Look, Leto is fine. He's probably only the second or third worst Joker ever. He's not even in the top two for me. But it is what it is. DC's new Joker movie starring Joaquin Phoenix may be breaking box office records, garnering awards attention, but not everyone is happy about the flick starring Batman arch nemesis. According to a report by The Hollywood Reporter, Joker actor Jared Leto was alienated and upset when Warner Brothers gave another Joker movie the green light. This tidbit from a report focused on the Scorsese involvement in the Todd Phillips movie and merely mentions Leto in passing, but even that little bit of insight speaks volumes. The Joker is an iconic character whose popularity rivals that of Batman. Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger's performances have gone down in movie history, with some of the best depictions of comic book character even ever put to screen, with the latter taking home the posthumous Oscar for the role. Posthumous. I always say, why don't they just say after death? Meanwhile, Leto's tattooed take on the villain has received harsh criticism. Leto was reportedly upset with how numerous additional scenes featuring Joker were shot, but didn't wind up in the final movie. There were rumors that WB was working on follow-up movies where Leto could take another shot at the role, including a Mad Love-inspired Joker Harley Quinn movie and a Joker solo movie, but those fell to the wayside. Leto will not be reprising the role for James Gunn's soft reboot or Kathy Yan's Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. So with Phoenix's standalone Joker movie getting made relatively soon after Leto's debut as the Clown Prince of Crime, and Leto not getting to do another Joker movie himself as of yet, it's understandable why he'd feel that way. Yeah, I guess I get it. There's lots of websites that rank some of the best Batman. Kevin Michael Richard, he's just a voice actor, I believe. I don't really think of the best Batman as simply voice actors. I'm sorry, Jokers, but that said, there have been some really good ones. Galifianakis was suboptimal. And the first actor on this list that they have is Leto on the bottom, even below Cesar Romero, which Joaquin Phoenix at 4 is ridiculous. He's probably the number 2. My list would absolutely go Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, and it wouldn't even be a hard 1-2. It would be a 1A and 1B. Mark Hamill has legendary in terms of voicing him. He's also what appears to be a real jerk in real life, so I don't know. Nicholson's up there too. There's been a lot of people to have the role, but none as iconic as Heath Ledger, so I absolutely agree with their number 1. However, the New York Times says, what the film wants to say about mental illness or class divisions in society is not as interesting as what it accidentally says about whiteness. Before Joker opened last weekend, much of what is being made of how it's a tale of a villain echoed news stories of all sorts of baloney. It's funny, echoed news stories. You mean the news that was covering completely fabricated stories written by the other media, legacy media? Yeah, how you guys fed each other the same rage bait with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. It's a wonder. It truly is a mystery, one of the greatest mysteries of all time, why nobody trusts mainstream media anymore. If only I had an idea. By the way, Don't forget to leave a like on this video, leave a comment, and share it out on Twitter, Minds, or Facebook. It's sincerely very helpful for the channel, and I really appreciate it. After watching the film, you can understand the concerns. Directed by Todd Phillips and starring Joaquin Phoenix as a deranged clown, Arthur Fleck, the title character Joker is simultaneously a well-made film in its own right and a blatant mashup of the king of comedy and Taxi Driver. It nods at the classism and winks at the Bruce Wayne family mythos, but at its core, it's a movie about a mentally ill loner. Probably true. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Still, what struck me about the film wants to say about mental illness or class divisions is not as interesting as what it accidentally says about whiteness. For it essentially is a depiction of what happens when white supremacy is left unchecked. What? Seriously, what? It shows the delusions that many white men have when they're placed in society, about their place in society, and the brutality that can result when that place is denied. You've got to be kidding me. This film absolutely has nothing to do with any of that, and you're just superimposing it over the top to write more rage bait. Again, shocking why people think you're all jokes. The fact that Joker is a white man is central to the film's plot. No, it isn't. It absolutely isn't and never was. A black man in Gotham, really New York, in 1981, suffering from the same mysterious illnesses as Fleck would be homeless and invisible. Well, one could argue that Fleck was invisible. It drove part of his whole need to be to find validation. He was truly invisible. The fact that you would say that in the sentence shows either you never saw the movie or you're just writing whatever you want to write to get clicks. I'm guessing it's the latter, but the former would at least be a reasonable excuse. In fact, you could look at how Arthur's living in this film and argue that he's about one step away from homeless as he lives in a dilapidated apartment with his mother. He isn't exactly thriving, is he? And though Fleck often says he feels invisible, had he been black, he truly would have been. Yeah, I suppose you can say that exactly, based on this fictional world of which you have absolutely no clue how any of it works. It is ridiculous. If you want to get into the numbers, the greatest number of homeless are white males. But I suppose that's an inconvenient truth to you. Though Fleck is pursued and investigated by Gotham's finest, his whiteness acts as a force field, protecting him as he engages in his acts in the later half of the film. Again, citation, please. There's absolutely at no point in this film where they're like, hey, he's a white guy, let him go, buddy, hey, well, he's got the white card. Never happened, and there isn't even any inference to it. This person is flat out making things up. Consider his appearance on the live talk show hosted by Murray Franklin. A black man acting as strangely as Fleck would not have been allowed to go on the air. Again, you have absolutely no facts or evidence to back this up. This is, of course, as you've labeled the piece, an opinion, but your opinion is also horribly wrong. You have no idea. In fact, in that canon, in the Joker world, there isn't really any division or any talk of the color of people's skin. In fact, the person his love interest apparently is a black woman. At no point is there any talks of that divide. This article is just flat out ridiculous. Look at how Fleck interacts with others. He's frequently in the conversation with people who occupy a lower rung in society than he does. A state-appointed therapist he sees early on, a protective mother who chastises him for playing peekaboo with her son. How can you possibly say these people are clearly on a lower rung than him, by the way? They're on the same vehicle. They're both taking public transportation. They're both broke. How much money do you think Arthur Fleck makes as a part-time clown in Gotham? One could argue he's he's at least on the same rung, but he's just as likely to be on an even lower one. But I guess your narrative is more important than facts? I mean, it's ridiculous. Every one of these characters is a black woman with whom he eventually has confrontations. Phillips constantly places Fleck in a oppositional or antagonistic position to these women. Well, maybe they were casted to help the film with diversity. There's only so many roles. In fact, how many people did Arthur Fleck have positive engagements with, period, in the film? I believe that number you're looking for is 0. That's kind of the point of it. Whether they were the white guys that worked in his clown outfit or his mother, who that relationship was as bad as they could be. There's absolutely nobody in this film that Arthur Fleck has a positive interaction with, but you're saying these 2 out of the 100 bad interactions are bad because these ladies are black. This is one of the biggest piles of garbage I've ever read. I'm going to skip some of the worst spoilers. Whiteness may not have been on the filmmakers' minds when they made Joker, but in this it's a hidden accomplice that fosters the events on screen. No citation, no evidence whatsoever. This article is, of course, race bait, hate bait. It's pathetic to see just how far the New York Times has fallen. And you could argue that it's an opinion piece, and that's fine, but this opinion is trash, and I'm surprised that New York Times would take the time to print it. I'm glad they did, because I've hoped you left a like on this video, you've left a comment on it, and we can all laugh together as the mainstream media continues to whinge and cry over the Joker's success. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Above, you'll find some links to watch more videos, as well as a nice big button to subscribe, which I hope you'll do. If you did enjoy it, make sure before you go that you leave a like and a comment on the video, because you are the #1 reason this channel continues to grow, and I appreciate you.